Hey everyone, I hope you are all doing well. My name is Patel, and today in this video we are going to talk about pre-validation in Dynamics 365 plugins. This video is going to be very exciting because in this video we will be taking a look at what is pre-validation in plugins. We will be discussing about a real life example, or we can say a real life application of pre-validation. And before moving on to that, let's first understand that what exactly pre-validation is in plugins, right? So if we talk about the definition of pre-validation, we can say that the pre-validation execution pipeline runs before the main system operation and outside of the database transaction. Now this is a technical definition of the pre-validation where we can understand that it always gets executed before the main system operation gets performed, and it is always outside the database transaction. And if I talk about the real-time application of it, then we can say that this stage is used for initial validation, security checks, and preventing invalid data from entering the system, as it allows for the operation to be cancelled before any database changes are made. If I have to give you a non-technical example, you can think of it in a way that, let's say you are entering an airport, you have a flight, and before entering into the main gate of the airport, there is a security check where the police officer checks everything in order to make sure that you do not have any kind of harmful weapons or something which can cause an issue. And once he checks everything properly, only then you are allowed to enter into the flight. So in the similar way, when you want that you do not allow to create a case record, or let's say any other record, before making sure that some of the preconditions are checked properly, you can use pre-validation in such scenarios, right? So let's say if I'm deleting my case record and I want to make sure that before deleting the record, if there is any open activity associated with that case record, then in such scenarios I would not allow to delete that case, right? Because some of the times we don't want that our case record should be deleted until and unless all things related to that case is sorted out. So in order to make sure that the user is not able to delete the record until and unless some of the required things are already done properly, we can use pre-validation. All right, so this is a business scenario which we are going to see in today's video, where I'm going to write a plugin code, and then we are going to register that plugin on a pre-validation stage in order to make sure that this works fine, right? So as you can see on the screen right now, I have my case entity opened, and I also have a case record here. Let me open it. So yes, so as you can see, when I go in, when I go to the related section and open the activities tab, you'll be able to see one email activity I have created here. Now in the ideal case scenario, if I just delete this record, it would allow me to delete it because we have not implemented any kind of pre-validation here. So if I just go and if I just click on delete, I will be able to delete it. But now what I want to do here is that since the status of this activity is open, I don't want this case to be deleted, right? So in the ideal case scenario, if I will try to delete this case, it will be deleted. But now what I want to do here is that I want to add a pre-validation that before deleting the case record, make sure to check that there is no active, or we can say open activity associated with that particular case. So we're going to be writing a plugin code in order to check this. So for this, let me go to my Visual Studio. As you can see, I have already declared my namespace and my class, and I've created a project. So I'll directly write the code here. So for writing the code, I'll first write using microsoft.xrm.stk. Then I also need to use the query, so I'll write microsoft.xrm.stk.query. Yes. Now let me implement the plugin. We're going to be writing a method here, public void execute service provider. All right, now let's go in here and we will create an execution context. So let's move on to doing that. So I'll write I plugin. Let me do it again. Yes, I have done a mistake here. Let's go. I plugin execution context. Context is equal to I plugin execution context service provider dot get service type of tab. Let me just close it up. Yes. Now I'm going to create my service factory. So for that I'll write I organization service factory. Service factory is equal to I organization service factory service provider dot get service tab. Now from the service factory I will create my service. So for that I'll write I organization service is equal to service factory dot create organization service. From the context I will pass the user ID. Yes, so this is done. Now I want to check that whether the operation is delete or not, and whether the entity is case or not. So for that I'll write if context dot message name dot to lower is not equal to delete, or context dot primary entity name dot to lower is not equal to incident, then in such scenarios I would not like to move forward. And if context dot input parameters dot contains target, then in that case also I would like to return. All right, now I'm checking here that whether the my context contains target or not. If it does not contain target, then in that case also I would not like to move forward. So this is what I'm checking here. And now finally what I will do here is that from the context I will fetch the case ID. So for that I'll write GUID case ID is equal to context dot primary entity ID. So this is what I will be fetching from here. And now what I will do here is that I will query my activity entity, which has the logical name as activity pointer. So for that I'll write the query expression. So query expression query is equal to new query expression, and the entity is activity pointer. All right, then in the activity entity also I would like to see the status of that activity, whether that's an open activity or not. If that's not an open activity, then in that case also I would not like to move forward. So let's write query dot column set is equal to new column set, and the name of that field is state code. All right, then I would also like to make sure by adding one condition that this activity is associated with my case or not, and for that I will be using the regarding object ID. So what I'll write here is query dot criteria dot add condition regarding object ID condition operator dot equal the case ID. All right, and another query which is query dot criteria dot add condition, where my state code condition operator dot equal 0. All right, now I will be storing this result, so this will be called my open activities is equal to service dot retrieve multiple query. All right, so this is it. If I will be writing if open activities dot entities dot count is greater than 0, then in that case I will throw new invalid plugin execution exception, which is sorry, you cannot delete this record since there is an open activity associated with it. Done. So let's see the code. What we have done here is, first of all, this is the basic stuff, right? All this stuff is the basic stuff which I have done. Then I'm storing the case ID from the context by writing the syntax, which is context.primary entity ID. Then I'm using the query expression to query my activity entity, and in that also I am checking whether this status field is present or not. If it is present, right, then only we will like to move forward, otherwise we would not get any output here. Then I am adding a condition criteria where I'm checking that whether this activity is associated with our case or not, on which we are performing the operation or the delete operation. So we are checking that whether the regarding object ID equals to the case ID or not. And then I am adding another condition to check that whether my activity is an open activity or not. So for the open activity we use this option set value field, which is 0. All right, and then if I have got any result, then I will be storing that into my open activities by writing the syntax, which is service.retrieve multiple query. And if the count is more than 0, it means if at least I have got one open activity, then in such case I would throw one invalid plugin execution exception that sorry, you cannot delete this record since there is an open activity associated with it. Okay, let's save it up. Let's click on build and let's build this solution. Build succeed. Now let's go to the XRM toolbox. We will perform this operation. All right, so I'll click on register new assembly, and what I will do here is I'll go to the solution explorer. All right, and here we have this file. Let's open in file explorer. Object debug. Let's select this. Let's go to our plugin registration tool again. Okay, let's select this and register this plugin. All right, so our plugin is registered. Now let's go there and register our step. So let's click here, register new step. Message is going to be delete. Entity is our incident, so the logical name of the case entity is incident. It is going to be at the pre-validation stage. So here we are registering this plugin at the pre-validation stage because we are going to perform this operation before any database transaction, right, or before any core operation gets performed, because we do not want to check anything else. We just want to check one thing, that if this particular case contains an open activity, then in that case I would not allow to delete my case record. All right, so let's click on register new step. Great. Now let's come to our CRM. I will do a hard refresh in order to get the latest changes. All right. First quality. All right, let's go here. So yes, we can see an open activity here, and as per what we have decided, I think it should not allow us to delete this case record since there is an open activity associated with it. All right, so let's go here and try to delete this case record. I'll click on delete. Let's say what happens. Okay, it is asking me whether you want to delete this or not. It is just asking for a confirmation. Yes, I want to delete it. Let's click on delete. See, the moment I clicked on the delete button, it showed me an error message that sorry, you cannot delete this record since there is an open activity associated with it. So I have received this error. What I will do here is I'll select this activity and delete it. And after that, I would try to delete this case record and let's see what happens. All right, so the activity is deleted, and now let's try to delete the case record. Great. So as you can see, the case has been deleted since there was no open activity associated with it. All right, so I hope you have understood that what is the use case of the pre-validation and what kind of scenarios we can use the pre-validation. It helps us in the cases where we don't want to perform any particular operation before certain checks are properly monitored. So in such scenarios, you can use the pre-validation. I hope that you liked this video and you have got a better understanding about the pre-validation. And if that's the case, I request each one of you to subscribe to this channel and share this video with your friends, because it can help them a lot if they want to progress in their career, specifically in the business applications domain. So please make sure that you share this video with them, and also like this video because it really motivates me to put out such more videos. And I hope that we together grow this community at a larger level. So thank you so much for watching it. Bye bye.